Okay, now before this video does start, I do want to let you guys know that I am doing a giveaway for 2 Hogyoku fragments. And yeah, so I am giving away those. Now, in order to enter this giveaway, you want to 1, subscribe to the channel, 2, leave a like, and 3, leave a comment as to why you want or need the Hogyoku fragment as well. So yeah, I'm going to be giving away those 2 Hogyoku fragments. Of course, just make sure to share, subscribe, leave a like, let your friends know, and yeah, let's get right into the video. And hey, what's up guys? It's Quartup here with another video, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over my typesoul build. Let's get right into it. Okay, now the name for this build that I'm going to be giving it is going to be called the GODSLAYER build, and the reason why I think this is because I think it can pretty much counter everything in the game. Okay, so first off, we're going to get started with the stats here. So we're going to go here to stats. I have 40 kendo, and I have 20 in speed. So yeah, in a previous build, I did have the same exact build, but I had 20 points in keto instead of speed. Now the reason why I did go into speed is because of blooming cuts, and also because of the extra flash step and phantom trick as well, just for mobility. Because what would happen before is I would have no mobility, especially in clan wars. I wouldn't be able to catch up or chase away any enemies that do run away from me. They're pretty much safe because I have no way of actually teleporting to them with blooming cut or even getting close to them in terms of speed. Now let's go over the movesets here. So on the first one here, we do have Serocornia. Now the reason why I do Serocornia is because it's actually a really good combo starter. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because with Serocornia, let's say like you have an enemy around here or something like that. So I'm gonna actually go down here real quick. So yeah, if there's an enemy like right here, you pop Serocornia, you know, it's gonna launch them up into the air, right? So what I usually do is when they're up in the air, I time it so when they're falling down, I hit them with a free vertical down, and then you can of course go into a split gate if you like as well. Now that's just the way I like to do it. Sero grab's fine as well, but this is the way I like to do it because, you know, Serocornia can cover a big amount of space, which means you can hit multiple targets at once, and it can also do a lot of other things as well when it comes to distance and clan wars as well. Now the key element to this build, which you guys are probably going to need, you can of course pull off this build without that, but it is this weapon. This Barrigan's Axe is literally the main component of this entire build. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of this M2 right here. It gives you hyper armor, and that M2 and does multiple slashes. So basically what I do is I usually play around this M2. So if there's an enemy coming towards me, I pop the M2, and usually it either guard breaks them or gets their posture very high, which from there, if they're guard broken, I go into a vertical down. Or if they're very high posture, I still go into a vertical down, and it either guard breaks them or gets them really high posture, in which even a simple M1 could get them guard broken. This makes this very viable, as if there's a fear user, if there's any other sort of users that do have hyper armor coming towards you, especially if there's Spectre Step, literally I just time my M2. If my M2 gets hit with the Spectre Step, I time my overpowering slash. So yeah, it basically just cancels out their entire Spectre Step into Fast Fang, which is really good counter for speed. Now, of course, I've already talked about this, but yeah, after Serocornia, I have vertical down and split gate, and that's obviously because of the crit off of hitting both vertical down and split gate being super high damage. So that's just something that I use as well, which is off of Serocornia, or even when I do the M2 as well, I go into it. Now we're going to move on here to Flower Passage. Now the reason why I use Flower Passage is because it's really good for guard breaking as well. So I basically just hit a Flower Passage here. Once it hits the enemy, I go into an M2, in which almost always assures either a guard break or a free vertical down. And then I go into split gate. Now I'm going to get into Sonata Flow in the middle of this combo as well, but you know, this is just optional as it is a skill box move. Now the next move I'm going to be talking about in this build is Delayed Crossings. Now the way that I play Delayed Crossings is like dropping Fang as for speed. So I just usually sort of aim it a bit more, like I time it a bit better just so it goes towards an opponent if they do backdash from my M2. Or I sometimes even do Flower Passage into Delayed Crossings as well, just for that extra damage as well. Now the next move that I will be talking about as well is Blooming Cut. Now this is for obvious reasons. It's of course to catch to an opponent, or what I usually do is I usually always blooming cut into an M2, because that's almost always true. If they don't block it, it's really nice. And yeah, so that's why I use blooming cut as well. Now for the next move, I have Sonata Flow. Now this is optional, but this is very helpful, as if you guard break with an M2, or just with an M1 off of your M2 off of Barrigan's Axe, you can get a free vertical down, but almost always the opponent's going to either block, parry, or dodge a split gate. So what I do is I hit with vertical down, then I hit a Sonata Flow from behind, in which basically throws off their timing and lets me get Sonata Flow, which gets me a free split gate as well. Now this is very useful, especially in gladiators for both raids and also especially in clan wars as well. Now on to my next sort of move here, I have Overpowering Slash. Now Overpowering Slash is of course very nice. It's very good if like you hit your M2 and there's still a Spectre Step, you can hit an Overpowering Slash as well. It's also just really good for catching an opponent off guard, as it does give you hyper armor as well. So basically what I do is I M2, and if that hyper armor doesn't get me the opponent, then I do Overpowering Slash as well. If not, after that I either go into vertical down split gate, or I do a Delayed Crossings into another M2. Now as for the next one, of course, Phantom Trick, we're just going to sort of skip out of that. That's just really just for confusing the opponent and going in for an M2 or just sort of playing passive as well. It's also very, very good whenever it does come from mobility in this game, as you know, it gives you basically like a super long flash step to go towards an opponent. As for the last thing for this build is pressure shift. Now, I love pressure shift. This probably makes this build 10 times better, and which is probably one of the reasons why I actually went Kendo speed was to get pressure shift. Now, pressure shift basically counters almost anything in the game. So if there's someone coming at you with like, not even like a Sero Corazon, if there's someone coming at you with a fast fang or waterfall dance especially, if you just time that pressure shift, that's a free combo. So basically it knocks them down. You can go straight into your M2 and get that free combo down. Now this build is very nice as well if you do have Vamp. Of course, Vamp isn't recommended. I go for Vamp, of course, because for me, I just got lucky and I rolled it. But because I have Phage right here, which gives me extra movement towards the opponent, and they, of course, buff the distance as well. And, of course, I have Echo, but what I'm planning on doing is either getting Payday as well through a Hollow Essence for these other ones as well. So, yeah, of course, your res, you can always find creative ways to sort of mix it into it. I know Bone is really good as well. I know Acid is really nice as well because of the counter that can go into the M2 for Barrigan's Axe as well. So, yeah, basically, the reason why I'm calling this a GODSLAYER build is because it can literally go against anything, and it can have a very good shot or even just destroy anything. I have a friend who's a Vizard who I literally almost knocked. He had to pop his Vizard mask, and I almost even knocked him after he had Vizard popped as well. So it's actually very nice whenever you are like not even a Vizard. Like I'm still an Ajucar as well. So even if you aren't a Vastokar, if you're just an Ajucar and you just want a very good base build to go around and you don't want to be like every other speed user, this I would totally recommend as it's very unique. I haven't really seen anyone else with this build. I've seen someone similar with this build, but no one with this exact same build that I've been using so far, and it's helped me a lot in terms of fights because a lot of people can't really expect you like throwing certain things towards them whenever it's just a build they haven't faced before. And yeah, so it's really good. So yeah, that's pretty much the video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.